In the world of the British royal family, jewelry is never just jewelry. Every diamond tells a story. Every pearl carries a message. And sometimes the most powerful royal statements are made not with words, but with what gets placed around someone's neck and what gets quietly locked away. For nearly 2 decades, a silent war was waged inside the royal vault at Buckingham Palace. It was a war fought without a single word spoken in public. No press releases, no official announcements, just a deliberate, methodical movement of some of the most historically significant jewels on the planet. From one woman to another, the woman who never received them, Queen Consort Camilla, the woman who did, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and the architect of it all, Queen Elizabeth II, one of the shrewdest operators in the history of the British monarchy. This is a story of how the late Queen used her extraordinary collection not merely as adornment, but as a carefully coded system of approval and exclusion, and how, piece by extraordinary piece, she built a glittering road to the future, one that bypassed Camilla entirely. To understand what happened inside that vault, you first need to understand the rules of royal hierarchy. When Charles married Camilla Parker Bowles on April 9, 2005, at Windsor's Guildhall, the constitutional reality was straightforward. Camilla became the Princess of Wales. That is a title that legally and historically belongs to the wife of the Prince of Wales. It had been held by some of the most celebrated women in British royal history. Most recently and most famously by Diana Spencer, whose death in 1997 had shaken the monarchy to its foundations. The British public, still raw from Diana's loss, was not ready to see Camilla step into that name. Queen Elizabeth II understood this with characteristic precision. A compromise emerged. Camilla would be styled as the Duchess of Cornwall instead, but the title adjustment was only the visible layer of the arrangement. What the public did not know, and what royal commentators and historians have since pieced together through observable patterns, was that the Queen extended this protective architecture deep into the royal jewelry collection. According to royal experts, including Marlene Koenig, a widely respected American royal historian whose research is considered among the most authoritative on British monarchy protocol, the distribution of royal jewels has always carried profound dynastic significance. It is, historically, how queens signal succession, loyalty, and legitimacy. Elizabeth used that tradition with extraordinary precision, and Camilla bore the full weight of its consequences. Few objects in the royal collection carry the symbolic weight of Queen Alexandra's wedding necklace. Created by Gerard, the crown jeweler, in 1863, the piece was presented to Princess Alexandra of Denmark upon her marriage to the future King Edward VII. It is a spectacular construction of large natural pearls and diamond clusters, designed to embody the grandeur of the Princess of Wales title at the dawn of its modern era. For over 5 decades, it was worn constantly by the Queen Mother, for whom it became a defining signature piece. When the Queen Mother died in 2002, the necklace passed to Queen Elizabeth II. 3 years later, Charles married Camilla. By every traditional convention of royal inheritance, that necklace, the literal jewel of the Princess of Wales, should have been offered to Camilla. It never was. For 16 years, it remained in the vault, unseen and unloaned. Then, in October 2018, at a state banquet honoring the King and Queen of the Netherlands, the necklace reappeared, around the neck of Catherine, then Duchess of Cambridge. The symbolism was not subtle to those who understand royal protocol. The Queen had held the necklace in reserve for over a decade, not offering it to the woman who held the title it represented, then skipped an entire generation to place it on Catherine. Historians and royal commentators noted this as a deliberate act of dynastic framing. By lending Catherine a piece so intimately tied to the Princess of Wales' legacy, the Queen was making a quiet but unmistakable statement about who she considered the true inheritor of that royal spirit. State jewels carry power, but the pieces that reveal the deepest royal intentions are always the personal ones. In 1946, Prince Philip, then largely without personal fortune, approached his own mother, Princess Alice of Battenberg, for help. She gave him something extraordinary, her diamond and aquamarine tiara, originally created by Faberge and gifted to her by Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. Philip dismantled it. He used the central stones for Elizabeth's engagement ring. With the remaining diamonds, working with London jeweler Philip Antrobus, he commissioned an Art Deco platinum bracelet. 3 large square-cut diamonds linked by articulated rows of brilliant stones, as a wedding gift for his bride. Elizabeth wore that bracelet throughout her 73-year marriage. It appeared in her Diamond Jubilee portrait in 2012. It was, in the truest sense, a piece of her love story. When the Queen chose to loan it publicly, she did not send it to Camilla. In October 2015, Catherine wore the Edinburgh wedding bracelet to a Chinese state banquet. She wore it again at the BAFTA Film Awards in 2017. This was not a gesture of state protocol. This was an intimate act of family designation. The diamonds that Philip had salvaged from a Romanov jewel to place on Elizabeth's wrist were now circling Catherine's. The message, for those fluent in royal symbolism, was profound. You are family in a way that supersedes rank. A similar pattern surrounds the Bahrain pearl drop earrings, 2 of 7 flawless pearls gifted to Princess Elizabeth by the Sheikh of Bahrain for her 1947 wedding, suspended from round and baguette-cut diamonds. These earrings are visible in the iconic 1952 official portraits by Dorothy Wilding, the same images reproduced on British stamps and banknotes as Elizabeth took the throne. They framed the face of a new monarch stepping onto the world stage. The Queen eventually released them, not to Camilla, but to Catherine. Catherine wore the Bahrain pearls to Remembrance Sunday services, to Royal Ascot, and most meaningfully, to the funeral of Prince Philip in April 2021. The visual echo was deliberate and striking. The same pearls that adorned the young queen as she began her reign now framed the woman who will eventually stand as queen alongside a future king. If personal pieces reveal sentiment, the Nizam of Hyderabad necklace reveals something else entirely: the hierarchy of power. In 1947, the Nizam of Hyderabad, widely documented at the time as among the wealthiest individuals in the world, offered Princess Elizabeth a wedding gift of extraordinary proportions. He gave Cartier in London an open account and asked the princess to select whatever she wished. She chose a 1930s platinum lace masterpiece featuring 13 massive emerald-cut diamonds with detachable double-drop pendant. The piece is currently estimated to be worth in the region of $85 million. For decades, the Queen wore it as her ultimate symbol of authority. In her 1950s portraits, it cascades across her collarbones with an almost architectural majesty. As the senior royal most likely to wear the collection's most significant pieces, Camilla might reasonably have expected access. It never came. Instead, in February 2014, Catherine wore the Nizam necklace to a gala at the National Portrait Gallery in London. The reaction from royal observers was immediate. This was not a minor loan of an everyday piece. This was the Queen transferring her most valuable personal possession to the wife of her grandson. The significance was not lost on anyone familiar with how the palace operates. Royal fashion historians, including those contributing to publications such as Tatler and the Court Circular, noted it as a statement of extraordinary weight. Some of the most illuminating omissions in the royal jewelry story are not about pieces Elizabeth gave Catherine. They are about pieces she refused to give anyone, particularly Camilla. The Cambridge Lover's Knot tiara is perhaps the most emotionally charged object in the entire royal collection. Originally created for Queen Mary and later worn by Queen Elizabeth II, it became Diana's most iconic crown. The one she wore at her first solo engagement, the one that appeared in countless formal portraits, the one that became, in the public imagination, synonymous with the tragic princess herself. When Diana and Charles divorced in 1996, the tiara was returned to the crown. When Camilla married Charles in 2005, she became Princess of Wales. Technically, by the logic of royal convention, the lover's knot was the tiara most closely associated with her new title. She never wore it, not once. The palace, with the Queen's clear sanction, placed an unspoken ban on Camilla and the lover's knot. To have permitted that combination would have been explosive. Camilla wearing Diana's most recognizable crown would have constituted, in the view of press and public alike, a provocation of the highest order. Instead, in December 2015, the Queen loaned the tiara to Catherine. Over the subsequent years, Catherine made her own signature piece, appearing in it so frequently that a new generation now primarily associates it with the Princess of Wales, as she is today, rather than as she was. The Queen's strategy was quietly masterful. By routing the tiara through Catherine, She neutralized an emotional charge while simultaneously continuing to wall Camilla off from Diana's most powerful legacy object. In her final years, Queen Elizabeth accelerated the process of cementing Catherine's position in the visual language of the monarchy. The Cambridge Pearl Brooch, a Victorian jewel of profound personal significance that the Queen wore in 5 Christmas broadcasts and for her own birthday portraits.